So yeah, Byron Murphy. Obviously, everybody's very excited. We had him, graded as the best defensive player in the draft, which obviously you guys saw everyone saw all the offensive players going. Rare to see that. Very rare year, but high motor, high effort, great individual. 3 years, he's 21 years old. Got his degree in 3 years. Just up and down the line of scrimmage, pass rusher, TFLs, you name it. Lot of utility, a lot of variety, and to sit here and think that when we started it that we'd be able to acquire him was we'd be lying to.
How surprising was to see that? I mean, I know there's a lot of projection of offensive guys, but what the point was there to see that in the offensive guys?
Yeah, we've never ever seen that, and 6 quarterbacks, all the offensive linemen, every kid. We had a good feeling about the offensive linemen, and then the quarterbacks. We kind of mocked it out that way. Really, obviously, I mean, not obviously, we mocked it out that way.
No, it was obvious.
Yeah, we were doing that. Yeah, but yeah, that was pretty rare. And then Latu went right before Byron, and it was just coming down there, and we had 4 opportunities, and we were ready, but he just kept coming, so we were super blessed, and we just stayed and picked.
Mike, what stood out to you about Murphy when evaluating him?
There's a lot. I just he just plays our style of football, really. I mean, and he's so talented. Versatility along the front. Plays such an aggressive player. Plays violently. Heavy hands for a guy like shorter stature, flexible. Pass rush flexibility, you name it. But yeah, just really excited to have him.
And what does that position do for maybe setting the tone or helping to establish kind of the scheme that we're going to see on defense?
Well, I told the guys, I said, hey, this is just a great opportunity for our team to get better, So he's going to provide great competition, and he's our type of guy. So he's a Seahawk through and through, and wherever position he's going to play, whoever we were going to take, that was really cool to have that opportunity to bring in a guy that we were really really sold on and really have consensus on too. So I'm really excited about it.
With your background, Mike, and what you're trying to accomplish, how great was the draft fall? Even you had every defensive player except one available to you.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, it was a great scenario because we love Byron and we're excited to get him, but we were open-minded. We were looking for what was best for our team, and it just shook out that way. But we weren't looking just necessarily defense from the get-go.
Maybe not 14 straight offensive players, but were you thinking it was going to be pretty heavily offensive focused in the other part of the draft from what you guys were thinking?
Yeah, especially after getting done with all the phone calls, that what we were hearing was going to be pretty legit, and once it started, they just kept coming, and so it was, but not until today, really, okay, yeah, this is, by the time, maybe I don't know, this afternoon, maybe around 3 when I was kind of done, making calls or whatever, I was like, okay, this stuff sounds true. So, man, it stayed true. We did think there was going to be a lot more trades. It sounded like people were going to be moving around more. We were kind of nervous that people were going to trade for Byron. And, thankfully it didn't happen.
To both of you, Leonard Williams played the vast majority of his snaps, obviously at 3 technique, as did Byron Murphy at Texas, mostly 3 technique. How do you see that play out in terms of, is there someone who might move if they're both on the field at the same time? Just kind of talk about that aspect.
Yeah, well, I think both guys have position flexibility. I mean, Leonard can play all across the line, so can Byron. We have a lot of guys that can. That's one of the reasons I'm so excited about it is you're not going to know where guys necessarily are going to be all the time, and we'll have some really really sweet ways to move guys around and have them in different spots and based on the teams we're going to play. So a lot of flexibility going in, a lot of pass rush opportunities, matchups, things we can manipulate. So all that's on the table, and it'll be fun to see how it shakes out.
Mike, he's been
Totally different body types too.
With that,
Completely.
with that versatility that Byron Murphy offers, he played some nose tackle last year at under 300 pounds.
downs. And how rare is it to see a guy be able to do that and take on double teams? And where do you see that running back background that he had coming to play as a penetrator?
Yeah, you do see that, and it's a great point. I mean, it's there's only so many people in the world that can do these types of things, and we're fortunate enough now we have a few guys on our team that can do it. So he just adds that versatility to us, like I keep saying. But yeah, for him to be able to play a nose at his size and his flexibility and his anchor and his strength is really impressive.
John, you mentioned that he got his degree in 3 years. What else, and away from football, kind of stood out to you that indicated he is a Seahawk?
Well, Ryan Florence, Matt Berry, everybody in that room really that, studied him. I mean, everybody loved him. And he went to the combine, had a great combine. He's just the whole fall, the makeup, the background. I mean, it just I've never talked to him like, I've totally tried staying away from him. I didn't think he'd be available, but still, like, not to show much, trying to show much interest, But our guys were all over him. The defensive staff loved him. It was just like Mike said, it was just complete buy-in.
John, was it tempting to want to try to trade down because of the gap you're going to have now between, until picking to 81, and was there legitimate opportunities?
We're gonna wait all the way to 81. Wah, wah. Come on, Bob. What a bummer. I'd be lying to you if I said we didn't think about it, but the player was, too. He was just too good, It's just too. He influences the game like a lot. So.
How many trade options do you have solid opportunities?
Yeah, we did. Yep. Yes.
John,
Good ones too.
Does he remind you of anybody? Do you have a comparable for him?
I mean, yeah. I mean, people. It's not Aaron Donald, but he tested like that. I mean, he's he's got that compact style about him, but he can. Like slow down, Johnny. He's a Hall of Famer. I get it. You're like you're asking for like a. It's just the body type. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I mean, and getting off the ball and. I mean, his all these statistics we have now, all this analytic stuff, like his explosive rate, like he gets to the quarterback quicker than anybody. So he's got like that ability to jump off the ball and get upfield, and he can play edges, he can play square. He can rush a passer inside. He gets up and down line scrimmage. But the body type that's the body type comparison. Obviously, Aaron Donald's a phenomenal Hall of Famer, like first ballot.
Nice.
Along the lines of a Lawrence Taylor.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, but I guess I could just roll into the attitude, because he talked about his dog attitude. He said all his life he's been doubted, and then he's like, it doesn't matter who's in front of me.
Yeah.
It's about that play. I heard both of you just talk about his mental toughness, his ability just to dominate that play. He wanted to.
Yeah, I think Ryan Florence would, and I hope you guys get a chance to speak with Ryan, but, just exactly what you said, like always up against it, overcome whatever the doubts people had about him. And when guys play hard like that, throughout a game, and his play time's high too, right? So, I mean, he's, it's very important to him.
John, this was your first time running the war room without Pete. Was there any
First
difference
of all, we don't
in
refer to it as a war room.
Okay, draft room. All right,
With
draft
all
room.
due respect, yeah.
But was
Sorry.
it any different in any way? And Mike, for you, first time as in this seat on that combat, what was the experience like for each of you?
I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said it wasn't different, but it was. How?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. I mean, it's just different. It's just a different. I don't know how to describe it, but the communication, everything was exactly the same, and the process, right? So, we started this several months ago. Mike and his staff had to get really caught up pretty quick, and they had to work their tails off for it. With Pete, we've been doing it for 14. After 14 years, you can get in a groove and know exactly, what's going to happen. But yeah, I would say we didn't have the music as loud. Okay, that's probably the biggest thing. Like Pete would, we'd get the music cranking pretty loud in there. So
John, you guys try to gather as much information as possible on these guys. Was it hard then to, like, was there a big temptation to want to talk to them just to get a feel for them before the draft?
no, yeah, well, yes, to a certain extent. We have a great working relationship with his agent, and I felt like I knew the person through the agent because I've just known his agent for a long time, and he can describe players and people he's recruiting real well, and so you get a real good background on the guy, and then just the information we got from everybody was so consistent, all the different sources.
John, he was just the 1 year starter there at Texas, but what leap did he make last year in specifics in his game to allow him to break out that way?
Just more playtime, really. I mean, they, for one reason or another, they just played more of a rotation. They had more people, and this year, with Sweat, they were on the field a ton. He was just on the field more.
Like for you guys, with defensive line, how important is the depth there to just be deep and be able to rotate linemen?
Could you say it again?
Just for you, for defensive line, how important is depth so you can rotate guys? Right.
Yeah, it's incredibly important. I mean, I wouldn't say that was a driving, force behind the decision. It's just an opportunity to add a awesome guy and a great player. So, but absolutely, I mean, in 2 minutes, you're going to want to have guys fresh and ready to rock, and then, it's not a short season. You need guys that can get after it in the trenches for sure. So.
Coach, I know as you were saying a second ago, I know you guys are locked in on what you have to do this weekend, but first round versus head coach of this program, what was it like for you going through the process there?
It was an awesome process. I mean, I think getting into it, and there's a lot of things you're trying to do to build the team and the staff. So, getting into the process a little bit later than we would be ready, maybe next year. So, you get in it and you dive in head first. And I think the thing that I'd like everybody to know is how awesome our process is. And we've assembled an incredible personnel staff. Being able to create alignment in such a short amount of time, I think was really neat. And there's just I felt a lot of trust, about the information that we're getting and the type of people that are in that room and the culture that we have in our draft room, And I just told John, coming into this week, I was like, look, I trust our guy, we trust each other, man, and I think that's really important. So today I was the music wasn't as loud, but I was calm, and then as the pieces started to fall in place, it was just it was a really cool experience. And John was cool as hell, and just talking, making calls, and talking to people, and it just whatever decision we ended up making at 16, I thought would be the right for our team, and it was a really awesome experience. So it was a team effort for sure.
John, obviously it was a losing effort, but Byron Murphy playing in the college football playoff against Washington, you've now got two coaches on your staff that played in that game. Did either Ryan Grubb or Scott Huff have any insight on obviously playing against Byron Murphy and where that game maybe fits in the evaluation?
I can take that one. Yeah, Huff said he had a lot of respect for those guys, especially Byron. So, yeah, definitely. I talked to him about it, but he thought he was a heck of a player.
John, how did the 6 quarterbacks ownership change everything? The whole draft for you?
Yeah, it just moves that whole group of different areas down. I mean, the 2 corners that went, those guys are damn good players.
So that broke your way.
I mean, for Philadelphia and Detroit to get those 2 guys, I mean, good football teams getting really good corners, and if the offensive, if the quarterbacks don't go in all the offensive linemen, those guys are usually mid-round picks.
Mike, you've had a chance to get around the players here a little bit last week and changes. So what have you learned about this group since you've had a chance to see them in person, get around them a little bit over the stretch?
Yeah, 3 weeks now, so we're rolling. I mean, I've told the guys I love our spirit, and that's a shout out to how we've done things here in the past and what we've been able to build. And you feel like a hunger, so and a sense of urgency from them too. So I think that's just what we're attacking every day, just trying to make the best of each day and stack them. And we've made some strides even in practice, just running plays on air, and but you can feel it from the guys that that it's almost like they want it more and faster, systematically. But we're trying to build it, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. systematically, culture-wise, building a foundation, all those types of things. So feel the excitement from the guys, and hopefully they're as excited as I am and our coaches are. So I think we're off to a good start.
Anything else? Thank you.
Awesome. Have a good evening,
Thank
you
you.
guys.